So we're up in Penmaen Mawr on the hills of the North Wales coast. These hills exist because 460 million years ago there was explosive volcanics happening in this area. So these volcanic rocks originated from the Ordovician period in the subdivision known as the Caradoc. This rock I'm sitting on is a rhyolite. This is an extrusive rock. So this is a lava that reached the surface and flowed down slopes, creating this flow banding that we see in the rocks. Now, rhyolite is an extrusive form of granite. So if it cooled underground much slower and allowed the crystals to grow bigger, this rock would have formed a granite. Some of the hills behind me are classed as granophyre, which is a mix between rhyolite and granite. So they cooled under the surface, but they cooled periodically with occasional injections of fresh magma from a deeper magma chamber underneath. And so you get some really cool evolutions of the chemistry of this sort of preserved magma chamber that makes up the hills here. So here's a really cool example of the flow banding. If you can see through the lichen, there's a really obvious band there. And this is the surface of one single flow band. So effectively that is the surface of a 460 million year old lava flow. Now, you know I like my connections between geology and archaeology. Up in these hills, the ancients made use of this rock for its special properties. Now, in some sections where it formed quite quick, it's really fine grained and quite glassy, but it's also really tough and durable. And so there was a Neolithic axe factory, and these axes were found all over the UK, all made here from this particular rock. So during this time in the Caradoc subdivision of the Ordovician, so 460 million years ago, this part of the UK was at a destructive plate boundary. That's where an oceanic plate was being subducted under a continental. Now, these rhyolites are silica rich, about 70% silica. They were quite viscous and contains a lot of gases. And this would make the volcanic processes extremely violent. So these would have been some seriously spectacular volcanoes.